ونمر إلى المداخلة الآتية، وهي على ما أظن الدكتور عمر العريبي. دكتور عمر العريبي، تسمعني؟ أستاذنا تسمعني؟
نسمع فيك.
أهلا بيك دكتور. عسلامة.
عسلامة يا عمي.
يا أستاذنا.
نعم.
عادة في مثل هذه المناسبات أن نقدم المتدخل لك أنت بصفة خاصة. أتركك تقدم نفسك للحضور. صعبت عليك المهمة.
شكرا أخت بيا، يعني بتشير الندوة أو في هذه المداخلة. محاضرتي هي يعني Geospatial Technology for the Integration of Geospatial.
أستاذ عمر نقاطعك، قدم نفسك قبل المحاضرة.
أنا الاسم عمر العريبي. أنا يعني اشتغلت أنا الحين يعني متقاعد جديد فريش جديد. كنت أشتغل في الأمم المتحدة ل 17 سنة، وكنت يعني مسؤول عن الجغرافيا الرقمية في الأمم المتحدة، وسأعطيكم بعض من المحاضرة بعض المعطيات عن شغلي في الأمم المتحدة. كما قلت في البداية أردت أن أشارككم يعني في هذه الندوة، وسأتكلم باللغة الإنجليزية عن قصد بكل تواضع. لماذا؟ لأني أردت أن أشارككم بعض المصطلحات التي اتفق عليها العالم، يعني في مستوى الأمم المتحدة، وبالتالي هي تجمع كل الدول. مثلا على سبيل المثال هناك من يتكلم الجيو انفورماتكس، مثلا الأخ بروفيسور محمد عزيز أو كذا، أو فيه من يتكلم الجيوماتكس أو كذا. فأنا أردت أن أشارككم في بعض المصطلحات التي اتفق عليها يعني مستوى الأمم المتحدة. وبهذا حسب رأيي هذا يعني هام جدا لكي يقع التواصل أول حاجة بين المجموعة العربية، وإن شاء الله يكون يعني نتفق على المصطلحات ونشتغل على المصطلحات يعني هذه. وبالتالي أيضا للتواصل مع أصحاب القرار، يعني أصحاب القرار حينما تقنعهم بمفاهيم يعني سهلة ومفاهيم يعني متفق عليها العالم، يكون أسهل يعني نخرج من الأكاديمية إلى عالم يعني التنمية وعالم يعني القرار. وبالتالي محاضرتي هي كما قلت Geospatial Technology for the Integration of Geospatial and Statistical Information in Support of Disaster Management. My outline, I will share with you what is important for geospatial information, why location or geographic location matters, why it is very important. I will also show you why geospatial information support what we call the Sustainable Development Goals. Because you know the worldwide now, we are, especially at the United Nations, we swear only by Sustainable Development Goals. What are these development goals? And I also advise you, or I encourage you to anchor your work through these Sustainable Development Goals. For climate change, for any other issue, you will see all the goals, you know, they are talking about or coping with these issues. I will specifically, especially for the disaster management, I will talk what is this point-based approach for the data collection. Because as you mentioned in your conferences today, what is the common thread is the data gap. Means you have the issues, but if you don't have data to back up how to resolve this issue, you still will not be able to resolve the issues. Then this is why I will talk about the specific data collection, what is called the point-based approach. And then I will show how geospatial technology support disaster resilience or disaster management. I will give some examples and conclude with some recommendations. Yes. Why location matters? Because it's easy. It seems to be obvious. Then people, they don't take care, but the where where are you located is very important, because geography, it was from the beginning of time, geography does exist, etc. But now with the location, and all of you are dealing with the location daily. You have your mobile phones, you have your location, what is GPS location, or we will see the global navigation system location, then it means it's an important matter. And why location is very important? Because it is the link, which is to offer the base, the common reference frame for all the issues, like for the economic, the social, and the environmental. These three aspects, what they are called the sustainable development goals or the sustainable development, the three aspects, what is the common thread between the three? Is the location, because it's about where human activities are located or where they happen. Is very important. And I will see how, give you some examples. You know that at UN, because we are catering to the countries, one countries like developing countries like Namibia, the minister of Namibia, they said in Namibia, a country in which water is a scarce resource, spatial data is only below water in significance, which means even developing countries, least developing countries, they're aware of the importance of spatial or geospatial data. Other countries like in Fiji or in other small countries or small island, they recognize the importance of, because for their countries, for their small islands, they are affected, by, they are low-lying islands, they are affected by the sea rise, etc., and by disaster, then they recognize the importance of geospatial information. For these reasons, UN, and this is, I have to emphasize this, and this is part of my work. With due modesty, I am one of the founding fathers of this UN committee of experts on global geospatial information management. This is why I said, because for us, or for the UN, or for the world, now we agreed on the terms of geospatial information. Because geospatial, it encompasses geography, and spatial is geospatial information. And in Arabic is like البيانات الجغرافية المكانية والفضائية. Then this committee of experts, UNGJM, it's the 20th committee at the UN, because it is not easy at the UN to create a committee. And in 75 years, this is the last committee created by the UN, which means it shows the importance of this. And this is an intergovernmental committee. Why? Because other committees like ACA, International Cartographic Association, or IHO, or other, they are all of them, they are NGOs. They are non-governmental organizations. This is the first international or intergovernmental body created by the UN in 2011 by ECOSOC. And why? It's to, yes, because this is the apex. This is the reference committee to set the agenda for the world and to bring the country together and to develop methodologies, standards, etc. This is the apex for geospatial information in the world. Now, as I mentioned, the global driver now we are talking about, because you have to recognize also for the first time in the world, in the humanity, countries, 193 countries agreed on a world agenda. Maybe you have heard about the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals in 2000. It was from 2000 to 2015, for 15 years. There were Millennium Goals. It was just 8 goals. They are targeting only developing countries. They are limited in scope, but for the first time in 2015, the whole world agreed on a world agenda for development. And this is why there are 17 goals. You see the goals from 1 to 17, and they have targets and indicators. Indicators, these are the means to measure the progress. And I will show you some examples of these indicators. And why I am showing you this, because I suggest that you anchor your work through these indicators in research, in academia, everything, because this is very important to bring funding to your universities or to your centers of research. You have to anchor your work through these transformative agenda worldwide accepted, okay? And if you look at these indicators, the 22, 30 indicators, most of them, they need geospatial information. They need geospatial data. Geography is at the core of these indicators. I will give you some examples. Yes, like here, we have, I will come in detail about this indicator. If you see the indicator 15.1.1, 15, it means goal 15, target 1, and indicator 1, 15.1.1. It's about forest area as a percentage of total land area. We'll see this. I will go in detail to give you some example or some illustrative figures about this. It means these indicators is geospatial data. Geospatial data can also, with statistical data, they can contribute. We'll see how the indicators, some other examples. Yes, I am coming back to these indicators, very important for you, because from the discussion we have this morning or this afternoon, you see that one of the cracks of the matter, one of the problem, one of the issue is how you as experts, you as technician, you are, academia, how to convey your message to the decision makers, to the politician. It means you have to talk to them in a way they convince them to, because if you show them a GIS, Geographic Information System, I am a specialist in GIS, doesn't mean this, but if you show them maps, color maps, for them is a technical thing. This is like computer thing. But if you have to talk about convincing them, these are examples. Look at this indicator 15.1.1. It says forest area as a percentage of total land area. How can you do this? How can you measure this without having a satellite image of the country or of the world? It means here the data is a must. It's a must data to measure or to calculate these indicators. Yes, let me give you here, as we mentioned, this is the NASA and other, the University of Maryland. They managed to have the cover of the world. And you see here the worldwide, what is in 2013, for example, they calculated, the total area or forest area within the whole world. You see the cover of the trees here. You can see gradually from the yellow here, from the yellow to the green, and this is the worldwide, okay? It means this is a calculation of these indicators. Now, if you go to some countries, because most affected countries, like we have here, Brazil or Indonesia or Democratic Republic of Congo, these are the most affected countries. And when we calculate these indicators, we can do the progress from one year to another. It means over the time. And you can see here the coverage over the time, and calculate the loss of the forest, the deforestation, of the countries. We can do it also by region. You can see the region here, and you have the Arab region or North Africa and Western Asia. We are affected here. This is the Arab region and the other region of the world. Why I said I will just finish with this indicator. Said why I stressed this, because it is easy to remember. When you say 15.1.1, it's easy to memorize as a number. As I mentioned, this is a forest area, and here geospatial equal the indicators. And this is, I said again and again, I have to repeat it, this is, you can convince the decision maker, the politician, that geospatial data is a must in your work, and they have to invest in this field. I give another example also here, but quickly, the indicator 11.2.1, what does it mean? Proportion of the population that has convenient access to public transport by age, sex, and persons with disabilities. You see here when you say access to public transport, when you say access to public transport means you need distance, you need, what are the stops of the transportation, if it is by bus or by train, etc. It means you need geographic location here. And this is with population and the characteristics of the population. This is the combination where geospatial data support statistics. And you need spatial analysis, geospatial analysis. This is why we need GIS and geospatial analysis. Now, for all this reason, UN, coming back to the disaster management, UN have a recommendation on this, especially this when they said disaster require a data-driven and geospatial approach, because as it was mentioned by many experts today, that in the climate change, you need to know the risk, what it is hazard, or what is the level exposure, the vulnerability, or what are the communities affected, what is the infrastructure also in concern by the risk, etc. This is geographic features. The other, you need the statistical approach, because you need what are the settlements, what is the population affected, what are the areas affected. It means you need to integrate geospatial and statistics. And there is a recommendation by the UN to have this twofold approach, geospatial and statistical. Yeah, just to give an example, when we go to geospatial, the integration between statistical and geospatial, you know, the statistical world, the basis is the census, for example. When we do the census, they need what we call enumeration area. The enumeration area is the geographic feature when they collect the data on the population. But for geospatial, for you experts in GIS and geospatial community, these are geographic features. In the jargon of GIS, these are points, line, polygons. It means you have, this is why I gave an example where the two communities, the statistical community and geospatial community, they are dealing with the same reality, but maybe they are not talking to each other. The geospatial community, they will talk about georeference, while statistical community, they could talk about geocoding, what you call in Arabic, الترميز الجغرافي. It means this is why we have to bring them together using these polygons, but now we are going, the technology will allow us to go to the point-based, it means to the household, to the house. And this is why we said the point-based, and this is the most precise. Why it is precise? Because it's very important for disaster. When you have the point-based, you know where the event would happen. If there is a flood, if there is any disaster, then you know what is the population that is affected, and where we take this population to safe places. It's very important. And the technology now with the smart, you know, with the handheld devices like tablets and like smartphones, etc. And these devices, we have on these devices, you can have your map, and with GPS, you can have the location, but also you know that what are the geographic units or what are the settlements. It means then we can go quickly, rapidly, how to save people. I will not go further on this, but to tell you that the technology now, it allows us, and like I said, with the handheld devices, but also when you have high resolution imagery, satellite imagery, or also the drones, what they call the UAV, the unmanned aerial vehicles. These are the technology now, they allow us, you know, to bring together the settlements where people are affected and where there are the safe places. I will give some examples here. Imagine you have your database at the household or at the house level. Then if there is any fire or any disaster, quickly you can react and you can save people. You know, here US, in other countries, they have 911, they are collected together, they can come to the location in few minutes. They can react quickly and come to save people. Also, when there is a cyclone like this, if you have to try to follow up the line trajectory of the tropical cyclone here, you see, you need this point-based. You know what is the eye of the cyclone, and they have its point-based approach. But also, if you have, I give you another example here that I mentioned. If you have your satellite image before the disaster, and when the disaster happened, you see the affected area here, what you see here in red. When you see in red the affected area, then you know, you calculate rapidly what are the people affected here and where take these people to save them. It means you allocate the aid what is the aid needed, and also what are the location to save these people. Just I gave you just few examples, and now I can conclude to my recommendation. The integration of geospatial and statistical information is very important. Why I'm talking about this? Because I am originally, I am geospatial guide, and I am from your community, but also I worked at United Nations for 17 years with statistical communities. And let me inform you, I would encourage you, the geospatial community, to touch base with the statistical community, because they have the means. You can exchange. It's a win-win situation between both communities, because this statistical, they have the means to do census every 10 years, and they have the means. Then you can exchange. You can give them the base maps, and in exchange, they provide you with the data you need to analyze for your work. This is why my take here is the integration of geospatial and statistical. It's very important for the work and to address the challenges of climate changes or any other geospatial issue. With this, I'd like to share with you, because I have recently co-authored a book, GIS and 2020 Census, Modernizing Official Statistics, with Esri. Esri is the leader of GIS, and you can find it. You can Google quickly, or I gave you here the link, but it's easy. You can Google my name with GIS and 2020 Census, and you will find the book. I think it's good reference for your work. شكرا جزيلا. هلا.
شكرا بروفيسور العريبي، يعطيك الصحة. شكرا على المداخلة القيمة. إذا كان فما أسئلة.
العفو، شكرا أستاذ. أستاذ قص عليه شوي رجعت الإنترنت. أستاذ عمر، شكرا. دونك محاضرة قيمة، وماذا بيا ما أكثرش من سؤال لأن الوقت بداية حصرنا شوي. هل من سؤال؟ إذا كان ما فماش أسئلة